I have uploaded 2 files into your Moodle, okay? So please download that. One is the slide we are going to use today, and the other one that will be the teaching and learning informed by assessment. We probably will use that file, the second file, probably the second or third hour, okay? So this one, teaching and learning. And I also noticed that because we don't have class last week, right? And then, but you have readings, right? And you are going to have a quiz. So how do you feel about this week's reading? Difficult? Much. But how about the first week? The first time? Oh, okay. So the first time that's much easier. This time is a little bit.
This time is much easier.
Oh, this time is much easier. That's good.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Just my illusion or.
Maybe your illusion. Okay. Anyway. Okay. So today we are going to have the video today. Okay, but they mainly focus on me. Okay. So not you. So don't worry about your faces and those. They want to take records, and maybe in the future. This is to help me because they are going to analyze my teaching performance. And so they will give me some analysis result telling me that which part I can better improve. But I think it's a good try. Maybe in the future, you become a teacher, and I hope that you can also challenge yourself and face your own teaching performances and keep improving. Okay, we can disregard that videos and then we can start. So let's start from the slide. Last 2 weeks we have students from Chiba University, and then we have fun. I hope that you also have fun. Okay, last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks we have students from Chiba University, and we learn about the assessment principles, and we also create the assessment, right? Authentic assessment. But today I'm going to tell you, okay, we will explore how IB education thinks about the assessment and how they deal with the assessment, okay? So first thing, let's review a little bit about the authentic assessment. Several weeks ago, and I mentioned about that authentic assessment is very similar to performance assessment, right? But there is some minor differences. So performance assessment, can you also help me to put these 3 phrases into the circles? You can see the 3 circles like the Venn diagram, right? Venn diagram, which means that some circles can be overlapped. So can you think of their relationships? Okay, student competency, performance assessment, and the traditional testing. And then I will give you like 3 minutes. You think by yourself first, and then discuss with your table mates. Okay? Okay, 3 minutes. And you also need to tell me why you put them into such a relationship, okay? You still have 90 seconds. Okay, ready? Okay. So, which one want to try? Still the same. Our rule is the same. Everyone has to speak, okay? Once during this 3 hours. So, who wants to try? Okay, good.
You think that it is?
Wait.
You think that it is hard for us to test all students' competency? So I think the bigger circle is students' competency.
Yes.
And the other small circle is performance assessment and traditional testing.
Which one is bigger? What do you think?
I think these two small circles are the same.
Oh, yeah. I put a bad circle, but if there's a bigger one and a smaller one, which one will you prioritize? Bigger one belongs to what?
Performance assessment.
Performance assessment. Why? Because of the competency is bigger, and then if we have a performance assessment, like here, so it means the overlaps more, right? But the traditional testing, we know that the traditional test items and those things and the paper and pencil tests or multiple choices, it's only part of very small set of the competency and definitely about the performance. But compare with these two circles that usually performance assessment can measure more of students' performances, right? Competencies. Good. Okay. So you know this. So we know that performance-based learning, so that will be focusing more on the acquisitions of the applications of knowledge, skill, and also the work habits. But what is work habits? Doesn't work. Okay, we will learn about the work habits. It is probably the first, it is the phrase that you first met. Okay, so traditional testing and the performance assessment. So you know that traditional one, that will be recalling, identifying the information and the listing all the things and the matching, you know. For the test items, you can match the different phrases. That would be the matching. And can you use it like, do you know it? Can you use it? So when you use something, you probably need to think about it and analyze it, and also you have to apply your creative usage, right? So classifying, compare, analyze, and also you evaluate. After you evaluate certain information, then you probably can know that which one is better, and then you will use that. So know it and use it, it will be different, okay? And the performance assessment definitions, that will be the definition, and we know that it overlaps with authentic assessment quite much, right? But I say that many teachers use them together. because authentic assessment also evaluates students' performances. However, if you really want to put them differently, you probably can say that performance assessment doesn't require the authentic or the complex problems scenario, right? That's what we know about it. Okay, but performance assessment can be authentic assessment, and then it definitely measures students' performances. What performances will be measured? Okay, so you can see that process skills, content knowledge, and work habits. Content knowledge, you all know about this. Process skills, higher order thinking, that's the higher order thinking, the skills, right? So subject specific, like interdisciplinary skills, and those things. Last semester, when we are in the curriculum development class, and I mentioned to you that about the phrase. Science, math, and what else? Language. Right? So we have, when we teach the content knowledge, that's the factual knowledge. But the process skills mainly about the nature of science. It's nature of science is still about the knowledge, but it also have some skills that you need to develop in that subject. Okay? So ask yourself, what kinds of the nature of subject, nature of language, nature of science, nature of math you plan to teach your students. And you probably hope that they can develop the content knowledge and also the skills from that. What are the skills from the nature of science? Science teacher? Research skills. Okay? Do the inquiry. So you need to know that how to make good research questions and collect the data and also analyze the data, so those things. How about math teachers? Nature of math. What do you know anything about the nature of math? Problem solving. And then what is the sub-skills of the problem solving? Analyzing, okay, analyzing the numbers, okay, and also making some interpretation, right? And also when the nature of math, probably when you read the problems, math problems in the textbook or the worksheets, you probably need to decode it, right? It's sentences, but you need to translate that into numbers. And then do the calculations with numbers, and then you probably, at the end, you need to give a conclusion and your result summary, so you probably need to write it in words, right? So decoding and encoding, those things can be part of the nature of math. How about the nature of language? We have language teachers, right? You are not language teacher. You are not teaching English.
I'm individual assistant.
That's fine. It's the same, okay? It's the same. So what is the core thing, core knowledge, and also the skills you want your students to develop? It takes time. Also analyzing of what?
Of the words, articles.
Okay. Analyzing the words, probably I would say like appreciating the language art, appreciation, right? And also communication. So those can be combined with knowledge and skills, okay? So it can be very subject specific. And also, or interdisciplinary, but the interdisciplinary, that will be mainly about the higher order thinking, okay, interdisciplinary. How about work habits? time management, individual responsibility, persistence, interpersonal skills. What do you think about this? Do you think it looks very familiar to you? What's that? Huh? Yes, affective domain, right? But how about in IB education? There's one thing very similar to that in IB education. ATL, right? What? You don't think it's very familiar to you, or you don't think they are not the same, or they are not very common to. What do you think? Do you think they are very similar or not? Which part is similar? Self-management, okay? And also individual responsibility, that could be not part of the ATL, but after you help the students to take care of their own business, right? Manage their own projects, they are motivated and they will take more responsibility, okay? And then, so persistence is also the same. But work habits, like other work habits also include like a humor. Do you have a sense of humor? Okay, when you collaborate with your peers and or in the future with your colleagues, you definitely need to develop certain friendship skills, right? And also how to help your work better. So those are the work habits. And also one more thing is like how to help yourself to persistently, to keep insistent on the job. Sometimes you may meet the failure, right? And so you probably need to also inspire yourself, right? That's very important, especially nowadays. That failures happens all the time, but you need to inspire yourself. Anyway, so like this one. So that's when we evaluate students with a performance task, we will see a lot of things. One thing is content knowledge, process skills, and also work habits, right? You can see that. And so performance assessment, there are 5 features, and we know these 5 features before, right, in the authentic assessment. Authentic, complex problems, process, and real-world scenario, high-order thinking, authentic performance, and transparent evaluation criteria. Today, we are going to focus on the criteria, and you will have several test items, quiz items on criteria, this word, okay? You know that your reading is mainly on criteria, right? So, okay, pay attention to that. Okay, so assessment in the MYP aims to support and encourage student learning by providing feedback, okay? Especially for this one, I focus more on MYP, not DP, okay? So DP, there are a lot of tests, and you will have the scores, okay? But for MYP, it doesn't have the external assessment. It only mainly focus on the in the classrooms, and the teachers will create the performance assessment or authentic assessment at the end of each unit. So students' learning will be mainly judged by that, okay? So throughout the process, you know that each unit is 20 hours at least. So throughout the process, you will have formative assessment, you will have summative assessment, but those two can give students feedback, not just about the formative assessment. What about the summative assessment? What kinds of the feedback can summative assessment offer to students? We all know that formative assessment can give students feedback, but how about summative? what kinds of the feedback can offer to students? I'll give you like 30 seconds to discuss with your table mates. Go. Summative. Okay, time's up. Anyone want to try? What kinds of the feedback can summative assessment offer? Try. Okay, you can go ahead.
Because through the formative assessment, we can know that how students reach the goal, the level of the goal. And for the summative assessment, they have to put their
effort.
They have to complete a project or something, bigger project. So they have to put what they have learned together and to see if they can reach the final goal.
Yes, but the feedback. I know that you talk mainly about what is the summative and the formative, but I'm asking about the feedback. What kinds of the feedback can summative assessment offer? Feedback.
Because they have to do some presentation or something, so they can get the feedback from the teacher or their peers.
That is one type of feedback. That's very good. One type. How about another types of feedback? Scoring? Can you elaborate more? Talk more? Try. That's fine. Scoring, that's a very good hint. So I want to hear more.
About summative assessment, because it is final, so maybe you need to compare with others. But if you give a lot of restrictions, it is hard to compare with others. So it is better to give a score, and then others can know that the grade or the level you are. So scoring might be maybe one type of the feedback.
Yes. The reason why I want to ask such a question is I know many of you are familiar with that, the feedback from peers, feedback from teachers. However, the scores itself can also give the students feedback. How well I have succeeded in this test, right? Just try to imagine yourself if you prepare a lot of things. Okay, just like the quizzes for today. I believe that you read a lot, spend a lot of time, right, reading that, but you are not so sure about what kinds of items the teachers will use and what is the score you get, right? So, but when you are writing the items, and then you are not so sure about the choices and those things, and then finally the teachers tell you the final answers for each one. What is the feedback? Do you get the feedback? Yes, right? Because you know that, I probably missed out this concept, and then I'm not so familiar with this one, this one for the quizzes, I got 100% correct. Then that means, you are very confident, and you say that, all the efforts have been well paid. So I'm happy with that, and I really understand the whole concept, right? So that is the feedback for you. So scores itself can give you the feedback, okay? And then later today, I will also I will also let you know that in your NYP rubric and also the DP rubric, try to recall that, the rubric. And it also have the score band, right? 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, or 7 to 8, the performance description. Do you still remember that? Right? So if you get, try to imagine, if you get a score 5, then what will you do next time? What will you do? So you probably will go back to see the rubric, and if I want to achieve better score, so like a 7 to 8, you will read, right? So that is one type of feedback that you receive from the scores. You can go back to check the criteria, and then you know where you are right now, and then is there anything that you can better improve? So the feedback, so please pay attention to the feedback. It's not just about the feedback from peers or teachers. And also inform, enhance, improve the teaching process for teachers. Provide the opportunity for students to exhibit the transfer of skills across disciplines. So still the same, to let the student know that whether you fully understand that or whether you can apply it well, apply what you have learned well. And also promote positive student attitude toward learning. I hope so. I hope the test items or quizzes won't defeat you, okay? And say, no, I don't want to take this course anymore. Okay, so I hope that it still can, when you become teachers in the future, I hope that the assessment you plan for your students can give the students some positive learning feelings, okay? And also promote the deep understanding. So back to this, what is the positive attitude you can offer to your students? If they really fail, what positive actions you can do? You probably can encourage your students that, okay, this time you may not do well, but identify certain weak areas that you have and try to work on that, and then make some plans, study plans, and then we will try it next time. Okay, so make sure that your students know that why they fail, and we also call it that productive failure. Productive. Make the failure productive. Okay, so can you make your classrooms, make student learning more positive, even though there's a quiz, just like the quiz I gave to you, right? It's like a checkup, and I will tell you the final answer, and I will try to identify whether you have misunderstanding. So I hope that you enjoy that, okay? That's all, not enjoy. Okay, anyway, I hope that, that's the official IB document. All the IB teachers need to be familiar with that. So you are just prepare yourself to become IB teachers, okay? And last one, promote a deep understanding of subject content by supporting students in the inquiries set in a real-world context. I think you know this. Okay, and also promote the development of critical and creative thinking skills, and also reflect on the international mindedness. That is those principles come from the NYP guide. So it also tells you that about the international mindedness. International mindedness is the educational goal for PYP, NYP, and the DP, okay? So I think others fine. Okay, so let's try this. So this is quite new, and then you didn't learn this before. So this is a new concept. But it is related to your readings of this week. Okay, but for the readings, last night I also reviewed one more time with you because I need to create a quiz. Okay, and then.
What do you think? Is it easy or difficult?
I think the sentences are too long. I have to say, for me, although I understand the concept behind, but I think the sentences are long. So that's why in the morning I saw you two are discussing about the concepts, and I feel that probably a little bit difficult for you to understand the concept. But anyway, so I'm teaching you like this, so you will know what it's talking about. So, but at least you have some readings, okay? So in your reading, it's about IB uses what? Criteria based. Is it criteria based? What is that? What is the phrases that they use?
Weak criteria reference.
Oh, weak criteria referenced. Okay. And then, so weak criteria references based upon your reading. So what are the features? What are the features?
Compare with previous student standard to standard standard.
Referenced. Okay. Compared to what?
Previous year's student performance to standard standard.
That's good. That's the main point. The weak criterion reference. So they have, you know, the rubric, right? It has a lot of criterion. And then, so it is, the teachers have to offer the scores based on the criterion, predetermined, determined, right? They also use this word, predetermined, okay? So they have to, the teachers will offer the scores based on the criteria. However, it's not strongly based upon the criteria. It is only the weak. So sometimes the teachers also need to judge whether the students improve compared to previous performances. Okay? Maybe the performances in last year or the performances in previous unit. It's fine. So that it does have some connections to the criteria, but also some connections to students' previous performances. Okay, so you know the basic ideas. So the evolutions of OLA. What is OLA? Overall level of achievement. Okay? That rubric, right? And do you know that this is the rubric for strength A, right? And so we have 7 to 8, 5 to 6, and 3 to 4, right? You know this one. But the IB also gives the final one. So from 7, 6, 5, 4, the final performance. Do you also know this one? In your subject guide, it also has this table. Okay? So right now, this one is mainly for the final scores for the semester. So this one is mainly for each unit. At the end of each unit, the students complete their project. The teachers will offer the scores based on certain strengths, maybe criteria A, criteria B, criteria C. Okay, and then after teachers collect all the scores from each project, they will put the scores they collect into the tables. And the teachers need to make a final judgment of students' performance. So the teachers will read the performances descriptions and then judge which number best represents students' performance. Okay? So there will be two types. From this one, that will be based upon each unit. This one, that will be the final score of the semester, and also it is determined by several units, the scores from several units and the teacher's professional judgment. Okay, so you know this. Okay, then let's move on to this one. So how will you rate Muhammad's score on criteria A at the end of semester? Okay. So how will you rate this one? So for example, like if the teachers, okay, math teachers, they use the math criteria A, knowing and understanding, and then Muhammad's, that's grade A student, and then unit rates, percent, and also representing and reasoning about ratios, dividing fractions by fractions. Okay, this one, each unit. And this scores is like the total score for each criteria, that's A point. 3 is the point that the scores Muhammad gets from the A points in that unit. Okay? And the person, so this semester, this math teacher has 4 units. And that is the criteria A that Muhammad gets from Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3, Unit 4. So, next one. So IB uses criteria-related approach, which means weak criteria referenced or referencing. What is that? Okay, so using a balance of criteria with the comparisons of candidate outcomes in previous years to the set. So, norm reference. Norm reference, you know the normal distribution. This one, criteria reference, will be based upon the criteria and also the previous performance. So how about this one? How do criteria marks become the final OLA, final overall achievement? So criteria A gets 6 out of 8, 6 out of 8, 4 out of 8. So do you accumulate all of them? And then what is about this one? So it will fit to the score band. And you will need to check, what does 5 mean? Does it also can represent students' performances? Is the description can represent students' performances? Do you know the steps? Okay. So first thing that you collect from, okay, so this is the semester level of achievement. You collect from students, and then you sum it, okay, you calculate it and accumulate it and make it into the final tables, the overall level of achievement. So that's the finals table. Okay, so then we also need to check whether the grade descriptions of each score, whether it can represent students' performances. I will give you practice later. You will have a chance to discuss with your friends. And then for NYP student to pass and move to the next academic year, so the student must get at least 3 out of 7. Okay, so which means that if he got only 2, that means fail. And what happens when the students fail that test? What happened? The teachers need to offer the makeup opportunity for students. So that's why you better to make sure that your students follow all the steps, and then they can get at least the passing scores. And then you don't need to make up another opportunity for students to achieve, okay? So it also mentioned in your reading, right? I think it's several weeks ago in your reading that the students, if they fail, the teachers need to offer some make-up opportunities. And also the student must achieve at least 24 out of 56, okay? So I think it's fine. It's all about regulations. So right now, this is the practice for you to work on with your friend, okay? So what about Ben? This is a context about that student. You need to judge, okay? So read about it, okay? And you need to judge criteria A, that's Ben gets from 7666, okay? I mentioned to you that probably in this semester, the teachers give Ben 4 units, and so that definitely will be 4 projects. So students, Ben gets 4 scores from criteria A, but how about why only 2 for criteria B?
Then 1 unit only cover criteria A and criteria B.
Yes. 1 unit, so which means that the 4 units cover criteria A, C, D, but only 2 units covers criteria B, right? You don't need to, in your unit, you don't need to cover all the criteria that I mentioned to you, right? So, okay, you know this. So, you know, I'll let you decide which scores. The final score, you can only decide 1 final score here for criteria A, criteria B, criteria C, criteria D, based upon the evidence you collect from each unit. So try to recall the principle behind it. You need to check the criteria, it's criteria referenced. But you also need to consider students' previous performances, whether they get improved, and you can decide a final judgment of students' score, the judgment of final score, representing his performances on criteria A, his performances on criteria B. You only can have 1 final scores. So make a professional judgment which score, whether you want to give 6 or 7. Okay? Several weeks ago, I also mentioned to you that when you offer the scores, you need to consider there could be many interpretations, can be the best achievement, can be the performances that students consistently displayed. Okay, so IB teachers have their own professional judgment. If you have the evidence to show the students and you can convince others, then you will be fine. Okay, but those are the evidence, so you need to make judgment. Okay, so after you decide this 4, then you have to think about this. Think about this. So try this one. What is the representing score for this one? And then you will need to change to the table and also decide the final score after your accumulation. And you need to check your subject guide and give the performance description, okay? You probably don't need to copy all the words here. You just need to let me know that what is the final score, okay? And then the score for the semester. And then you can also take notes on your notepad and telling you that that's what is the key performances here. Okay, you don't need to copy every word, okay? But you need to make some notes. So it takes time to discuss. I will give you like at least 8 minutes on this task, okay? Discuss with your friend. I do mention to you several principles of judging a score. So work on this with your teammates. Okay, go. Which page? Which page? 25. Someone find it out. 25, page 25. That's, you read several weeks ago. We have 4 groups, and after the break, then I will give you some time after the break, but we have 4 groups. So you know that we have 4 boxes. So each group will tell me that why you offer the final score like that. Okay, tell me your decision, tell me your rationale. Okay, so you can have, so right now we still have 5 minutes, but it's fine. I think you can keep talking, and then after the break, we will come back at, so right now, oh, that's a long break right now. So that's fine, it's a long break. So come back on time, okay? 10:20.